Hi guys, and welcome back to another build video. Oh my goodness, it has been so long. Let me give you some context for what we're building today, and then I'll go into like what's been going on in my life. So this house is for my 100 baby challenge, and I've kind of been debating what to do for it, because now that we have that Plumbite gem, my Sims don't really need their needs refilled. However, it's kind of ambiguous how far the Plumbite actually covers. Sometimes it covers the whole lot, but then other times it only covers like a living room. So it's kind of been hard for it to work consistently. Plus it kind of makes for boring gameplay when like literally the only thing my Sims are doing are working on their infant skills or working on school projects. And also the last house I had was basically just a big room where everyone stayed all the time. And that's not a very interesting build either. So for this build, I wanted to switch it up a little bit. I wanted to bring back actual bedrooms, an actual kitchen, and kind of have it more spread out. And then I added a garage onto the side of the house, which can still kind of be the skill building area, because I cannot deny how powerful it is to have a room where they can just go skill build without having their needs go down. But I'm kind of hoping that like maybe we can mix it up a little bit. Sometimes they'll be skill building, sometimes they'll be sleeping, sometimes they'll be cooking. Like I want a little bit more variety, you know? So that's the vision for the house. Also, I always do for my 100 baby challenge this like fake tiny home thing where the rooms aren't technically real rooms, and so I can classify it as like a micro home and get all of the skill gain benefits, the build benefits, the relationship gain benefits that come with that. And you can see right now that I'm actually not building it like that. These are real rooms, and that's just because it's a lot easier to build normally and then go back afterwards and change all of the rooms to be fake. So you'll see me do that later, but don't you fret, this is still a fake micro home. And on that note, that's why it has to be one story, because you can't build fake rooms on a 2-story because none of these rooms technically have roofs, which is a little annoying because I really like building 2-story houses. I think they add another fun dimension to make more interesting builds, but I just can't pass up the benefits from the micro home on a challenge like this. All right, with the concept for the house out of the way, let me talk about where I've been. So it all started when I got sick. I was sick for like almost a full week. My voice was super scratchy. I could barely get out of bed. Like it was bad. I still don't know what it was, but I didn't want to record because for one, I felt like crap. And then for two, my voice just sounded terrible. Like it still sounds really deep, I feel like, as I'm recording now. Like I don't think it sounds bad. I just don't think this is how I naturally sound, but it's kind of how my voice has settled out right now. So I guess it's here. Then on top of that, I've been preparing for my qualifying exam. Now what this is exactly varies from university to university, but at my university, it consists of like a 70-page paper followed up by an hour-long presentation, followed up by like 20 minutes of questions from experts in the field. It is so intimidating and so much work. So that's part of why my voice sounds so weird now, is because I was practicing that presentation over and over and over again for like hours on end for like days in a row while I was still recovering from being sick. So I really was not doing my throat any favors. There was a final little cherry on top of this miserable milkshake. And trigger warning, we're about to talk about pet death. I guess that spoils what happened. My dog died. So in case you didn't know, I had this dog and I've had him for the last 17 years, like literally since I was a child. He's been like, oh, I'm gonna cry. He's been there with me through my entire life. And like, especially growing up as a kid, I had so much anxiety and I would get nightmares all the time. And like the one thing that actually helped me calm down and be able to go to bed and be able to just live was the comfort of my little puppy. Then he stayed with my parents during undergrad, but then when COVID happened and I had to move out of the dorms, he moved in with me. And so I've had him living with me ever since. And he just got me through that really hard time too. He was such a deeply important part of my life. And I hear you asking, Shasha, why are you choosing to talk about the loss of your childhood dog over a Sims speed build? And I don't really know. I have a lot of really supportive friends in my life, and they've heard me cry about this probably too many times now, but I still have more emotions about it. You don't just lose such an important part of your life and get over it quickly. So I think I just needed someplace else to talk about it. I have one last thing I want to share about it, and then I'll move on to happier topics. But what really like gets me about it, right, is he was a 17-year-old dog. He was old. We knew his time was coming eventually. He had a lot of health issues. He had a really bad heart murmur. They were pretty sure he had a brain tumor, but we couldn't afford the scans to like double check, but they were pretty sure. And then he had like lost most of his teeth, so like eating was really hard. He was going blind, and so he would get scared by like light and shadows because he didn't know what was causing them. So he was definitely showing signs of age, and I definitely knew that I probably didn't have much time left with him. But like what really kills me is how he died. He was staying at my mom's house and she was watching him, except she wasn't. And he got out and he fell in the pool and he drowned. He lived through so much. He lived through a heart murmur and a brain tumor, and he died on accident because the people I trusted to watch him weren't watching him. Like, that breaks my heart. He was such a resilient and stubborn boy. I know he had a couple years left in him, honestly. That's all. I just needed to talk about it somewhere. Thank you for listening. He really was just the best dog ever, and he deserved more than an accidental death. Oh, sorry there. Got kind of emotional. I didn't really know what kind of video I wanted to make for my first video back after a while, so this got a little heavy. I hope that you used the timestamp skip if you needed to. But yeah, I'm gonna move on to happier topics now. Thank you for letting me cry about my dog. So all in all, a very stressful time for me. A lot of chaos happening at the same time, and I just was kind of struggling to manage it. But like I was mentioning earlier, my qualifying exam was coming up, and I have great news. I passed. That's right, you're looking at a PhD candidate. I'm very excited about that. I cannot believe that I passed. Like, I was so stressed. It felt like my brain was in a million places. I for sure thought that I was just not gonna be ready for it, like that I was too stressed to function. And so I am so happy and so proud of myself that I passed. So I'm looking forward to the summer, right? Because it can only go up from here. As far as janky micro homes that I build for my 100 baby challenges go, I actually think this one came out pretty good. I don't usually do garages in my build, so it was pretty fun to use that mural from City Living to make a fake garage. And then the roof situation always trips me up, but I actually like how this one came out. It just looks very realistic to me. So you see, I'm gonna go through now and add the wallpaper. That's the last thing I do before I convert this back into like a fake micro home, because the wallpaper always gets me. It's really hard to apply by room when they're fake rooms, and so that's why I'm trying to do it first. And I have these square rooms split up into like a teen's room, a child's room, and a toddler's room, and then that study room. And then I didn't mention the kitchen earlier, but I'm actually really proud of it. You can kind of see it as we pass by. I used a lot of the stuff from the Home Chef Hustle Pack, and that stuff just looks really elegant and nice. It was kind of hard to know what to do for the garage, because honestly, the default wallpaper sort of looks like it would fit in a garage, that kind of unfinished drywall, because very rarely do garages have like nice wallpaper, but something about that drywall just screams unfinished in The Sims, like unintentionally unfinished. So I replaced it with like a plasticky looking wallpaper that gives the same industrial vibes while still looking intentional. And then I'm going through now and trying to make the color palettes seem a little bit more intentional in the kids' rooms. And around this time is when I realized I totally forgot the infants, so I went through and added that too. I like this wallpaper from Dream Home Decorator, the one with the triangles. It's sometimes hard to use because it's just a little too weird. But I mean, kids' rooms are the place for weird things, so I thought it fit. You'll also notice I use suitcases as the wardrobe in that room, and it's kind of a nod to the fact that these kids are never here for very long, right? Like, I feel like the teens especially are only here for 2 days max. So, you know, they don't need a lot. Then I'm also going through and redoing the study room. I originally had those growing together desks because I really wanted one tile desks in here, but the growing together desks just look like a little ugly, and so I wanted to give this study room a bit of a more refined air. I even got that bookcase with the ladder from Crystal Creations, so I think it looks nice. And I similarly went through and gave the living room more of a refined air. We were kind of starting to run low on money at this point, so I replaced the TV with a cheaper one, but sized it up to still give it that presence on the wall. We actually have a lot of money in this Let's Play, and I don't understand why. Shasha gets her money from painting, but I consistently forget to have her actually paint. So I do not know where our money is coming from. But like, the budget for this house was 70K. That's huge. It's just a huge house, so it went fast, but that's crazy. And here's where I'm going through and making the whole house fake. So that involves deleting all the floors because those are the tiles, but then you also have to delete one chunk out of each wall to really convince the game that this is not actually a room. And then you have to go back in and add each of those chunks of walls individually. I don't really know why that works, but it does. So I went through and added all those chunks of walls, and then I fixed the wallpapers, and then I noticed some of the columns were clipping weirdly, so I got rid of those too. And I think the only real room in this whole house is the main bedroom's bathroom, because you have to have some real tiles or else it doesn't count as a home at all. So I think that's where I put the real tiles, but I don't actually remember now. Then I went through and added real flooring everywhere. It's kind of weird because since it's not classified as a room, it gets this outdoor lighting, so it looks different at different times in the day, but at nighttime is when it looks, I think, most normal. It just sort of has a weird blue tint, but that's a small price to pay for the perks of a micro home. And I did the same wood through most of the house and then just added rugs for pops of colors here and there. And now I'll pass you back to past Shasha for moving in our Sims and a tour of the house. So I've come to Manage Worlds and we're gonna try and move everybody today. So the first thing we need to do is go through and get everything that's like important. So that's gonna be all of our crystals, our crystal tree for sure, a trash can because I totally forgot to put one in the new house, probably the baby, our rodent, this bed because Shasha's done upgrades to it, and then we have a couple of school drawings I want to take with us. And then I'd like to take most of our garden here. So I'm just gonna go through and put this all in my inventory. And I think that's everything we want to take with us. So I guess I'll bulldoze the lot now. I always forget I have to take the baby out of my inventory before I can leave build mode. All right, and then let us move household. I hope I have enough money for this. I mathed it out and I should, but we'll see. So I built their new house on this 40 by 20 lot in San Sequoia because I thought it could be fun to be kind of close to these like splash pads that I don't really use very often. Perfect, we were able to afford it. Let me give you a tour real quick. So as you walk in, we have a little living room and a little entry area. Through this door is the kitchen and dining area, and I use a lot of the Home Chef Hustle stuff in here, and I think it looks really nice. Then through the hallway here we have Shasha's bedroom. It's pretty sparse. I kind of started to run out of money at the end, but I mean it's functional, it's fine. And here's her bathroom. Then over here in the rest of the house, we have a little study area and library nook, the toddler bedroom, the kids bedroom, which is where the rodent's gonna go, the teens bedroom, and finally 2 kids bathrooms. I like this house a lot. Sometimes our fake tiny homes end up looking like really weird, but I think this one looks pretty good actually. I'm pleased. So let me go through and add everything. Let's add the baby. We can sell these 9 decorative plates that we have for some reason. There's this display case I like to use for food, so we can put that back here and then maybe scoot the dining table over a little bit. Maybe get rid of these chairs at the end. And we have a lot of high school diplomas. Do we want to hang those up somewhere? That's our wall of fame, I guess. I'm not sure why we don't have everybody's, but it's okay. And then we also have these like birth certificates and baby prints. I think I accidentally deleted some of them as we've been going, so that sucks. But I'll just put all of our memories up on this wall. Go through and replace the hamster and Shasha's bed. Get the school drawings on the wall. Bring the gems in. And then I want to replant our garden outside. And there we have our little mini forest. And now for the grape shrubs. All right, and last but not least, our crystal tree. Oh, and I realized I forgot to show you the garage. I was kind of saving the best for last and then I forgot about it. But yeah, the garage is kind of like the center of all skill building. We have the school projects for the kids and teens. We have some toddler stuff. I also got this wall of tablets, which I realize now is clipping, so let me move that. But these are for the toddlers. Then we have all of Shasha's skills, the stuff for the infants, and then these crystals to go in the middle of all of it. This crystal right here actually should probably go in this room because this is the school room, but otherwise, all the skill building should be happening in here. I think for now I'll put it with the other crystals so I don't forget, but when I go to make Sims do their homework, hopefully I'll remember. I think I'm gonna leave the actual gameplay to next episode, but this was a lot of fun to build. I'll see y'all later. As always, have a lovely day. Bye!